correctly with the correct amount.
Awesome song. That was Walk Away by Back from Ashes. Back from Ashes have won the Producer's Choice Award from the Los Angeles Music Awards. This ceremony will be held this fall in 2009 with a live performance of Back from Ashes. Back from Ashes lineup consists of Jason vocals, Mikey rhythm guitar, Matt lead guitar, Lane bass and backing vocals, and Steve on drums. Their new self-titled EP Back from Ashes can be ordered directly from their main website at www.backfromashes.com. Also, Back from Ashes digital downloads, cards, 2 albums, videos, and bonus tracks can be ordered from their main website. To add Back from Ashes on MySpace, log on to www.myspace.com/backfromashesmusic. Leave them a comment and they will reply. They love all their fans. Hi, DJ Tina here, host of HMTV Canada E-Zine. With me today is a very honored guest. Please welcome Jason from Back from Ashes. Hi Jason, congratulations on your new album, Back from Ashes. Can you tell us how Back from Ashes takes the listener on a journey of capturing the angry, deep emotion of breaking the chains of a relationship and feeling trapped and yearning or wanting to come up for air again?
Everything that we create is something that most people can relate to in one way or another. Personally, for me as a lyricist, I like to observe the human nature. It's almost a voyeurist type approach. You know, what I'm writing about may not necessarily be something that I myself have experienced, but through observing the human condition, it's always something that you, the listener, may have experienced. You know, I think this EP represents life in its purity, in the sense that in anyone's life, they will have at one time or another experienced the emotional roller coaster that we call life.
The imagery, feelings of love, hate, hurt, and resentment can be seen, and the energy can be felt by the listener. Who writes the band's lyrics, and are they based on personal experiences the band members have gone through, or maybe your friends have experienced?
Well, you know, we all take an extreme active role in the writing process. I would say that I write about 99% of the lyrics. Similarly, that the band writes 99% of the music. That isn't to say that the rest of the guys didn't give me that push in the direction that they felt while writing their parts. You know, I'll always ask them, you know, what did you feel when you wrote that? And they would say, this is how the music made them feel, and I'll take it from there. I would say, this is how the music makes me feel. And I'll kind of blend the ideas sometimes. You know, as far as personal experience, like I said before, I kind of take the human emotion as a whole and tap into the soul that's us as people, whether it is something that I've personally experienced or something I've observed.
Is this how your band name emerged, Back from Ashes, as a result of surviving a painful experience in relationships?
Not entirely, but I can definitely see how one can interpret it that way. I mean, let's be honest here, I'm not the poster child for the guy that always gets hurt. You know, I've done my share in return, and actually, you know, kind of most of the time, must be a singer thing, I don't know. But the name truly, it represents us as a band. Okay. You know, what we've been through as musicians. When Mikey and I found each other, we were both in projects that we were pretty unhappy with. And, you know, we weren't happy with our choice of music and what we've been playing, and quite honestly, we were tired of failing as musicians. I think this name really represents a rebirth. You know, the mystical phoenix that rises from the ashes, and it was once thought to be dead, but bursts from the depths of that dark place, comes back out of nowhere. That kind of
producing any music videos to bring these song tracks to life from your album?
It's truly funny you asked that. I was on a meeting last night with 822 Digital out of LA. We're actually set to film a video for The Suffering Within on June 30th, and it's pretty exciting stuff. We'll be working with Freddie Allen of 822 Digital. He produced our first video from our first album, Broken, Father Fiction. Really great guy, and he's just a genius behind the camera, so you can definitely be looking for that in a few weeks. I won't promise anything, but there may be some naked scenes or 10 with me. I mean, not really. I don't think anybody really wants to see that. But yeah, we definitely have a video coming out very shortly, and we're really excited for people to see it.
I'm curious, will the band be pressing any vinyl copies from Back from Ashes to sell as a promotional at concerts or as limited editions for holding contests on your main website for the fans?
Highly doubtful. Vinyl isn't cheap. And, I'm sure you've heard the term starving musicians.
Okay.
Hello, that's us. We do occasionally hold a contest or 10. We've been known to give away autographed guitars, CDs, pictures, dates with the band. Nobody ever seems to sign up for the last one, though. It's kind of weird. But we definitely hold contests. As far as vinyl's concerned, it's a pricing thing. Those they're not cheap. Not to say that a label won't take care of that, though.
After viewing the band's video, I can see Back from Ashes puts on a killer show, and I really dig the brutal, mean, powerful sound and vocals and the ripping energy that comes from the band playing live. And you get the same feel when you listen to your music in a high set of definition speakers and 5.1 surround sound. Was your album recorded live or through digital using the computer?
No. The album was done in a studio with our producer Ryan Green, and I got to tell you, that guy's amazing. But since you mentioned it, we actually do plan on releasing a live CD by the end of this year, so we're real excited about that. And, all those fans out there that haven't had the opportunity to see us live, they'll get a video representation and audio representation of, what we're all about, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully people buy it.
Were there any challenges to laying down the song tracks, to the recording for Back from Ashes, and did Ryan Green at Crush Recording Studios help with the mixing and the mastering of this album?
Challenges? Absolutely not. It was smooth as silk. Yeah, totally kidding. Yeah, holy shit, what an experience. And I'm sorry if I'm not allowed to cuss.
That's okay.
We did a ton of pre-production, and what that means is us sending the tracks over to him and him saying, wow, that's really good for you. How long you guys been playing together? Like a week? I'm like, dude, sarcasm at its best. So he really pushed us to be a better band. We wrote things that we didn't know were in us, to be honest with you. He was definitely a driving force behind, the sound that we've got. He really impressed upon us that our music needed to tell a story and musically needed to have impact. Otherwise, we're just no different than anyone else. So he did his job. He played that producer role extremely well, and he did a hell of a job. He did mix and produce the album, and we did get it mastered out of California by a gentleman by the name of, I always have a problem pronouncing it, Ma-or Applebaum.
Okay.
But Crush Recording is no longer owned by Ryan Green. He's actually independent now. Just FYI.
Can you tell us a little about the DVD that you're producing live at Joe Grotto's? Will this include live video footage or past tours, behind-the-scenes footage of recording sessions, interviews, funny wild moments throughout the band's history?
Well, yeah, like I hit on earlier, we do have a live recording in the works. We did just do a show a couple of weeks back at Joe's Grotto, which, by the way, is our favorite venue. Again, Ryan Green came in and set up the Pro Tools rig, and away we went, BFA Live. Of course, it's just a start. We've been recording all kinds of stuff, pretty much every chance we get to include on the DVD, from shots from us touring, going to the bathroom, practice sessions at a rehearsal, basically any and everything we can get. For us, I think we owe it to our fans to show them what our lives are like, and hopefully they don't think we're all idiots at the end of it.
Oh, that's funny. What comes to mind as being the most memorable, favorite, or funny music venue tour, and why?
Man, there's so many. Well, I remember our first big show. Mikey was, we were up there, I think we're a second song in, and Mikey was supposed to switch to an effect on his guitar, and he ended up hitting the wrong pedal. And all of a sudden, there was this, god-awful noise that came barreling out of the monitors and the PA, and it was like space music or something. And, it seemed like a half an hour, but it was probably, 10 seconds. seconds, he tap danced around until he found, the right patch. But he was, like, completely mortified. And, and he just basically stood there for the rest of the show.
Wow.
Another funny story comes to mind. We were actually at Joe's Grotto, and we're about to start playing, and the band was doing a line check, and I really had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear my name being called over the PA. So I, like, completely, pinch it off midstream. I go run into the stage, and we start playing. And next thing I know, it's, like, really drafty all of a sudden. And I look down, and there's Mr. Happy hanging out in my pants staring at the crowd. Wow, talk about a cold sweat, And, the stories keep going, and, that's live.
So it's been an adventure, more or less.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what an experience.
Yeah, for sure. No one left, thank God, so.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. But that's good. That's good. It's good you're able to keep your audiences entertained.
Right. So my next job's in porn, so.
Okay, so what is Back from Ashes' focus for 2009? Will you be concentrating on a major tour to promote your new album, or is the emphasis on partying like a rock star, conquering the world, or are you writing new songs at the moment?
I don't know what the politically correct answer is to that, but I'm going to say all of the above.
Okay.
We're constantly writing new music. Any chance we get, we're gonna be writing. We've got to keep that machine moving forward. There's no harm in partying like a rock star either. And the touring part of it is what we do it for. And that's what it's about, is getting on the road and spreading those ashes, and getting it out there. So really, we're going to be, doing everything you just mentioned. And hopefully we'll survive it all.
One fan really digs your logo and asks, do Back from Ashes have skateboard, guitar picks, posters, bumper stickers, and rolling papers in their merchandise? And they also would like to know, who did the kick-ass artwork for your album cover and merchandise?
What a great idea. Skateboards and rolling papers. I'm curious about the rolling paper part. We do have posters and picks in the works, guitar picks. And we do currently have window stickers and bumper stickers and shirts and CDs and all that stuff. And you can get that at our website at backfromashes.com. But it's kind of funny, the question about who did our kick-ass artwork, because literally today, my buddy and I who did the artwork, his name's Ryan Thomas, he designed the album cover and logo, and we were talking about that today, and he's put a ton of work into this band, and he says, I think if I added it all up, you owe me about 20 grand, so I took off.
Whoa.
Told him good luck.
Ouch. Yes. That ought to hurt.
Yeah. But no, truly, true story. We were just talking about that today at lunch, and great guy. But he definitely knows his stuff, and he's been there for us since the beginning. So
did you tell him that you're going to write him an IOU note on white paper?
Oh, no, that would mean that I still owe him the money, and we're too close of friends for me to pay him, so.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Well, before we wrap up our interview, does the band have any shout-outs to friends or fans?
I say this in every interview that we do. Our friends and our fans, they are what makes us successful. We work hard and all, but I don't think anyone really realizes how much work goes into what a band does. Without our support staff like Johnny, our videographer, to Vanessa, our merch girl, to Ken, the guy that makes our screens, and Ryan Green, our producer, and Ryan Thomas that does the logos and the albums. I feel like I'm, doing a Grammy speech here, but, just so many names and so many people that put a lot of work in. Like our publicist, Yvonne, and all the street teams that we have all over the United States and in Europe, and I think we even have one in Canada. It's just truly, truly crazy how much work is put into this. We couldn't survive without any one of them, and even those people that I didn't talk about. It's just it's insane the amount of effort that goes in behind making something successful. And as far as our fans are concerned, without them, we wouldn't be here. They're the whole reason behind what we do. It's not only for us, as musicians, we gotta like what we do, but it's we do it for them too. They truly have the power to make us or break us, and I think a lot of people forget that. About all the people that are there for you, whether it's in acting or
Now, you said you got street teams in place. Now, have they helped with the marketing of the band's music and making digital sales?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's truly it's crazy. I mean, we get street teams that just pop up almost every other day in states, and you know when we go on tours, I mean, hell, they're the people out there that are pushing it. You know, hey, Back from Ashes is coming to to our town. You know, check it out. This is the information. You know, blah blah blah. So yeah, they play a very integral part of what we do, and we've definitely seen an increase in sales over it.
That's awesome. And they're there with every concert, pushing the merchandise and promoting Back from Ashes, the CDs?
Yeah, you know, we do have our own merch person that goes with us most of the time. But when they're not there, absolutely. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy. We have street teams that fly in. If we're not in their state and we're close by, we've actually had street teams fly in and come see us and support us. It's something I never expected.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Do you feel that when you're touring and you're playing your live shows, that's where you make the most sales on the CDs and the merchandise?
Oh God, yes. You know, ever since the wonderful world of internet downloading and Napster, you know, back in the day that started it all. And I know it sounds like a whiny complaint from another musician, but I mean, it costs a band so much money to produce the things that they put out there for people to listen to that it's killed the music. You know, it's literally killed. I mean, record companies have lost billions of dollars. I'm talking oil money over the free downloading thing. And now, you know, not that the fat cats needed more money, but, you know, some of that money came down to the musicians, which were able to, you know, which afforded them to be able to do the things that they needed to do, like record an album. I mean, it's not like you push record on a tape player and go. I mean, we're talking tons of hours that are spent in the studio writing and, you know, paying producers and engineers and mastering people and, you know, video cameras and film crews and just the cost of a tour. You know, how do you think we get from city to city? It takes money, it takes gas, it takes flights, it takes equipment, and, you know, I mean, like I said, not whining, but, you know, truly, truly internet, you know, free downloading has made a huge, huge impact on the independent artist. You know, so the only way to try to subsidize that is to try to tour as much as you possibly can. You know, people can't download a shirt. So,
right, that's correct.
You know, and it's not that we're, you know, trying to make $1 billion here, but, you know, just to at least subsidize and be able to, you know, would be great.
Has the band been able to open up for bigger artists or bigger acts or share the stage with them?
You know, we've been real lucky and unlucky in a sense. You know, we've always headlined everything that we've done, but we always pick up, you know, local acts wherever we go. We truly kind of have that mantra where we believe in giving everybody a shot because everybody comes from somewhere. You know, whether you're just starting out and you're a driving force in your scene, and it doesn't help numbers at shows either. You know, as far as playing with major artists, we do have some stuff in the works in August, and I have been warned by blood that I'm not allowed to talk about who it is.
Okay. Now, which do you prefer? Do you prefer playing indoor venues or outdoor venues?
You know, it depends on the event. I mean, outdoor venues are really cool. You know, if it's a big festival, it's awesome, especially if the weather's great. You know, it's pretty cool. Obviously, there's sound differences. You know, in an outdoor type venue, you know, you've got to have a lot of sound pushing you because sound escapes. So, you know, as opposed to an indoor venue, you know, you don't need quite as much pushing the band as far as you know, equipment's concerned. I mean, I really don't have a preference. Playing for us is enjoyable, whether it's in somebody's backyard or, you know, in a big park or a small little club. You know, small little clubs are cool too because it's very intimate. You know, we get to, you know, sit back and really talk to the fans and share drinks and, you know, things like that. And again, we take a very hands-on approach to our fans, so that's always a lot of fun. But again, similarly with outdoor, you know, events, you know, 20,000 people, you know, there's nothing wrong with that either.
That's awesome. Do you have any last words?
You know, I go back to the, you know, the question, you know, about, you know, our fans and friends. You know, We just love them so much, and without them, we couldn't do it. And, make sure everybody goes to our website and buys our CD.
Can you plug in your web address?
It's backfromashes.com.
And your MySpace?
myspace.com/backfromashesmusic.
Hey, Jason, thank you. I want to thank Yvonne as well for allowing us to interview Back from Ashes. Horns high, you rock.
Oh, thank you so much, and it's been a real pleasure here as well. Anytime you want to talk, give me a call, baby.
Okay.
All right, you have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.